Every creation, in some way, is a revelation of its creator. For example, if you had someone who is expert in metalworking, you could show them these candlesticks here at the altar. They would be able to tell you, were they made in a factory by machines? Were they made by hand, one at a time? They would be able to tell you what the metal was, what the plating was, probably could even tell you the techniques with which it was done. And think of anything that you can see in this world. That's the case. Indeed, if you look at the entire cosmos, look at the earth, the sun, the stars, they all, in some way, reveal the Creator. They reveal God's magnificence, His splendor, His creativity, imagination, perhaps even. Every single human being, indeed, we are taught by the Scriptures, has the image and likeness of God to reveal to the rest of creation. So just by being, just by existing, every human person reveals the Creator. The call of a disciple is to reveal the Lord now as Redeemer as well as Creator. You notice this little exchange at the beginning of the gospel we hear today. The disciples ask Jesus about this man born blind, like, why is he blind? What went wrong here? Who did wrong here? And Jesus says this curious little paradoxical, beautiful thing. This guy who can't see anything, this guy to whom the entire world is invisible, this is so that the works of God can be made visible. And in essence, that is the purpose of every single one of us here who is a disciple. To make visible the works of God. The works that God has done in our hearts, in our lives, to transform us, to redeem us, to save us, to help us grow, to be more holy. Now, every single one of us, through our baptism, has indeed had that kind of encounter with Jesus. We have walked away from that transformed. But the vast majority of us experienced this before we could even put two words together. We don't remember it. Now, we are blessed here in this community. We had our readings read today by one who received baptism last year. And this is the time of year, if you will recall, that throughout the world, the church is encouraging and praying for those who are preparing for baptism at the Easter Vigil. It's a time for us both to lend our encouragement and our prayer to them for the home stretch of their preparations, but it's also a reminder to the rest of us, already baptized, whether recently or long ago, what we are meant to be. There comes a cost with discipleship. And this gospel we hear today illustrates what that cost often looks like. To allow Jesus to really transform oneself often costs relationships. The new life that Jesus offers, the cost of that is the old life, the life that was lived apart from Him, apart from God. For this man, there's tension even with his parents. They are reluctant to go along with this transformation that they clearly see happening in him. And maybe you yourself have had this sort of experience in your life. You've gone through a change, a period of growth, some kind of transformation. And all of a sudden you realize you don't really fit in your old life or with the old crowd anymore. Those of you familiar with 12-step programs, you have lived this as explicitly perhaps as one can. But there's so many ways it happens. The journey of discipleship, allowing Jesus to really transform us, allowing God to be manifest in our lives, not only as the one who creates us, but as the one who even recreates us, who picks us up when we're fallen, who heals us when we're wounded, who forgives us in his mercy when we have sinned. To really be about that, to really walk that journey, it's not always easy. And very often, maybe we encounter somebody who says to us, "Oh, so what, are you too good for us now?" Or maybe we hear from somebody, "Listen, I changed your diapers. Don't you pretend that you can tell me anything." But that's the cost. If you don't recall some moment in your life where this sort of thing has happened, I would issue this challenge. I would just ask, is that really because God has already made you so holy that there's not really any need to grow anymore? Or have you perhaps been resisting, saying no to the growth that God offers you? And if so, why is that? Do you fear the change that might come about? The losses of relationships that might come with it? Do you fear the unknown? You're quite comfortable with how life is, and you're reluctant to let God make a change in you so deep, so fundamental, as it was with this man born blind, that people who had known him all of his life all of a sudden questioned, "Hey, wait, is that the same guy or not?" Or maybe, are you just too comfortable with your life as it is? Whatever that reason might be, I would offer this word of hope and encouragement. Yes, allowing Jesus to transform us comes at a cost. Yes, it often involves loss. But the payout, the benefit of it, is the fulfillment of the deepest desires of our hearts. These hearts made after God's heart, made for union with God's heart. The joy, the fulfillment, the peace, the liberation from death and sin and suffering that we all long for, that only comes through allowing God to make these kinds of transformations within us. So if you find yourself stuck, if you find yourself hesitant, as the old saying goes, keep your eyes on the prize. The cost that you must pay, it's negligible. It's next to nothing in comparison with what God really wishes to offer. By the grace of this Mass, may every single one of us disciples here truly be out in this world with all of our other relationships and all the places we find ourselves what we are meant to be. Men and women who make visible the works of God. Peace be with all of you this day, and with all who love the Lord in simplicity of heart.